After some tough results, the Addicts have had a very busy week at Sparrows Lane. Our new faces in the building will be looking for an improvement today. This afternoon we head to Oxford, where hopefully we can get all 3 points, but we come up against a very in-form Liam Manning side. They had a difficult season last time out and surprise loss to Cambridge on opening day, but Oxford have won 3 in a row in the league. A 1-0 home win over Carlisle was followed by a very impressive victory away to Derby and also to Barnsley. Addicts form has gone the opposite way, and Dean Holden will be looking for his team to bounce back against a side that are predicted to still be near the top of the table come the end of April. Here's just a taster of what's coming up in the next 35 minutes. As always on Charlton TV, we'll hear from the gaffer who spoke to Terry Smith shortly after arriving at the Kassam Stadium. We'll hear what the club's technical director Andy Scott has to say about new signing Chem Campbell. And we've got a wonderful walk and talk interview with Daniel Kanu, who not only scored his first 2 league goals last week, but also achieved excellent BTEC and A-level results. Great to see you all again. Delighted to say I've got the A-team alongside me, but how many A-levels have we got between us all?
Not many. Got a few O's.
Well, you and I are old enough for the O-levels.
Yeah.
I did the last year of O-levels. I'm
I was
assuming.
the first,
yes.
Yeah.
First of GCSEs.
Yeah.
Do you want to go there? How many?
Oh, I got 4.
Okay.
No A-level. I didn't go to college. I was dragged in here, wasn't I?
But big congratulations, Daniel, I have to say. Very important in today's game, more than ever, really, isn't it? To make sure you do the academic side alongside the football side.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the main reason for the academies, that you know, because the failure rate is so great, that these young players need something to fall back on.
Yeah.
And I've been hearing, certainly in the Premier League, Tony Pulis has been talking about it, that a lot of the youngsters have been avoiding their schoolwork, like their academy, you know, their...
What, now? At the moment?
Yeah,
really?
because they want to be footballers. They want to be footballers, so they're not really putting it in, and the failure rate in the academies are so great that they do need to fall back onto something.
Absolutely.
So he's in the process at the moment of trying to put something in there that is mandatory, that the work's done, you know, even before the football.
It's harder now more than ever to become a professional football, so the parents also need to be educated in that sense to make sure their kids do it. What were your favourite subjects at school? Obviously PE.
PE, yeah. I loved going up there.
Anything other than PE?
Not particularly.
What did you get the 4 GCSEs in?
I got maths. I did get English. I failed the literature, got language,
Okay.
got maths, got PE. Can't remember the 4th one.
Oh.
It's a long time ago now.
Maths and English. Maths and English.
I failed the literature.
That's what I concentrated on.
I'm not happy about failing the literature.
I wanted to be able to head up and talk.
Could we chuck in an A licence as an
Counts
A?
as an A,
Yeah.
absolutely, definitely. Look, I mean, we'll talk more about Daniel Kanu's achievements a little bit later, but it is Oxford today. And actually, just before we talk about that, and apologies, Curbs, I took Brownie in, I chauffeured in again. He sent me a text to say, is it all right if you take me in, Scott?
Because of the strike?
I almost felt as if he was going to sit in the back, you know, because he wanted to be chauffeured. But I brought him in and I forgot to bring your coffee. So big apologies for that. Yeah.
I ain't forgotten.
No.
Oi, you won't be there next week. You know what he's like.
For the chop. Anyway, look.
Long memory.
Oxford today, Brownie. It's not going to be easy, is it?
Absolutely not, no. No, I've watched a few of the highlights during the week. They look like a very good side. And they were struggled a bit last year. You know, 19th, didn't really set the league on fire at any stage, and yet they bounced back, sort of gone under the radar a little bit. They had a brilliant result, I think, against QPR pre-season, 5-0, but everybody sort of thought that was QPR with their struggles rather than Oxford doing well. Yeah, and actually from the highlights, they look quite dangerous. And it's a typical Liam Manning side, actually. I know he struggled at MK Dons last year, but they'll play.
Yeah.
And they'll try and play through the units. They look very powerful in front areas, and they look to try and win the ball back high up. When they do, it's not sideways and backwards, it is trying to penetrate quick.
Occurs for us, results haven't been good and mistakes have been made. What positives are there to take going forward, though? And how do you remember ever having a sort of a bad start, and how would you turn it around?
I just think the games are, on the whole, I think the games have been quite even. You know, and we've come out the wrong side of it. But the opposition, for me, especially Peterborough, Bristol Rovers and Port Vale, have been creating too many chances. you know, for especially the home games. Yeah. So that's one thing, and we're going to talk about Dean's team a little bit later. But no, when you've got a bad start, for me, the first thing you concentrate on is not letting goals in. I know it sounds a bit negative, but you've got to do that because I've got just getting a little bit of a feeling with the striker situation that if we let a goal in, it's a long way back, you know, and so, yeah, I would be concentrating on defensive work. Brownie said it often enough that we look really vulnerable from set plays. Yeah, I've been doing that most of the week, I think.
Well, you can't be having to score 2s and 3s and 4s to win a game, are you? But let's talk about Dean's team, shall we? But first, hear from the gaffer, who spoke to Terry Smith a little bit earlier.
Hi Dean, we're here at the Kassam Stadium to take on Oxford United, and you've made 3 changes to the starting lineup. Do you want to talk us through those changes? Yes,
we've got Harry Eisted in goal, Deji Elaweri, Lloyd Jones, Lucas Ness, Corey Blackett-Taylor, Tayo Eden, Nathan Asimwe, George Dobson, Karoy Anderson with Kanu and Alfie May up front.
Those changes, now, last week and the previous games you've said that we found a way to lose games. Is this those changes trying to find a way to win?
Well, we're coming to every game with the aim to win the football match. To be honest, I'm sick of talking about what's gone before. We all know we've not had the points that we deserved and where we wanted to be. Now it's about looking forward. We've had a really good week in training this week, I have to say. The boys have been very, very good in terms of the information they've took in. There's been a lot of analysis work gone on, both in terms of in possession, out of possession, a lot of stuff around set pieces as well. We've been out on the grass, we've had double sessions, so I feel we're in a good place. I feel that there's a real togetherness and a real determination amongst the group, and yeah, it's important that we come here today and get our season going.
We've got some good best way to describe this, we've got some positives. Deji Elaweri making his full league debut, start, I should say. You've got the new signing, Campbell on the bench as well. 2 Campbells on the bench, which should make my job a lot easier. Reasons to be positive.
There's always reasons to be positive. Of course there is. Very, very early into the season. We're obviously missing some key players. We all know about that. Panucci Kamara, unfortunately, doesn't make it today. Neither does Miles and Chucks, and obviously Scotty Fraser as well. So, they're big players for us. At the same time, Chem Campbell's coming this week. He's only had 2 training sessions. TC, as you say, Tyrese back on the bench, huge positive from how he played in that first game against Leyton Orient. So great to get him back involved in the squad again. And as I said, the key thing is that the players are well aware of what's needed today. We've come unstuck really in terms of just slight lapses in concentration. We've been a good team to watch going forward. We've created lots of chances. I expect that to be the same again today. Clearly, Oxford are a team who are good on transition. They've got some pace in them forward areas and some really clever players as well. So I've picked a team with some pace in it. I want us to get on the front foot and get right after the game. And at the same time, if and when we do get penned in, we need to be diligent in that defensive structure, knowing that when we regain, we can go and counter-attack them as well. So I expect it to be a good game. Let's hope we get out on the right side of it.
A lot of people look at the lineups and the sides and say, well, Oxford will be in confident mood with the start that they've made. But similarly, if the positives for us is that if we play like we know we can, and we have, then we should be confident too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously 3 wins on the spin for them. They've won away at Derby and away at Barnsley. So clearly, as you say there, results-wise, they're in a good place. We're in a good place too. I'm keen to keep talking about that. The points situation is the points at the moment, but there's been a big turnaround in players. I'm very, very confident in the way that we're working. Of course, we're coming open-minded every day, eager to learn. But you can't question the work ethic. We come in ready to go to work every day, and we've done that again this week. And I'm excited for what we get today.
Well, look forward to it, Dean. Good luck. Thank you.
So yes, 3 changes from the Port Vale defeat. Harry Eisted, who makes his first league start for us. Deji Elaweri, who has a full league debut. And Lucas Ness all come in for Hector Taylor and Maynard Brewer. Tyrese Campbell returns to the bench after his ankle injury, and that's a bonus. And also new signing Chem Campbell, who joined us on Wednesday, also makes the bench. Guys, I mean, look, where do you want to go with this in terms of the changes, the formation? Have we seen Ed in the midfield and Corey still as that left wing back?
Yeah, I mean, it's quite interesting. I mean, if he was going to make these decisions, Dean, I think he'd have done it early on in the week. Big decisions, leaving the keeper out, Hector as well. And I think that would have to be explained to the players. And the formation that we're going to play gives us the 2 strikers. So I think that he'd have thought over it over the weekend, and then perhaps Tuesday settled on it and had a 3-day work into today's game. I'd be interested to see if it is like that now, because I don't know if Corey Blackett might play where Eden is. I'm not sure, but It's interesting that Eden's gone from left back into midfield, but he looks a decent player. So,
He's a good footballer, there's no doubt about it. And maybe they're worried about the pace that he thought that Oxford might have.
I think that's what he's worried about, pace.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about that side is you look at it, and with what Curbs is saying, you could put Blackett-Taylor in behind the front two and Dobson and Anderson behind as two sitters. You could, you could effectively play Eden left, Blackett-Taylor right, and a Simway goes in next to Dobson and Anderson's in front. He's got options in there. But, I mean, the thing that sticks out like a sore thumb is he's having to keep changing his back line. And he's changed his goalkeeper now as well. And that's a consequence of the goals we're conceding. And you can't blame a manager because he's, we're making changes every summer, because we're having to. That's where we're at as a football club at the moment. And then with all the changes comes every summer, and then the manager has to find his feet during the season. And it's not ideal for Dean to be having to change the back line every game. It's the last thing you want, isn't it? You want a steady back line.
I've said it often enough, consistent results bring consistent team selection, or is it the other way round? Either way, you need both of them, and at the moment we've not got that.
OK, let's have a look at the Sky Bet League One fixture list today, shall we? Not many bigger games around the league than our match, but it will be interesting to see how Bolton respond away to Burton after last week's shock loss, big loss to Wigan. I mean, Wigan have taken 12 points in their opening 4 games. They host Barnsley. Peterborough against Derby also sticks out as a battle between two well-fancied sides. I mean, Kurs, what did you make of Wigan's 4-0 destruction of Bolton? And previously looked so dominant and one of the favourites.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it just shows you that we've been looking at the big sides in this league, but it's the Stevenages of this world that you're going, and the Oxfords, if you like. I mean, that's a big game, Stevenage, Portsmouth. Portsmouth fancy themselves, and Stevenage have had a good start. It just sums up that it is a real tough league and a gruelling season, and you need to be as consistent as you can. And the big blow for me is that losing 2 home games already. You've got to get more points here to have a chance of getting in that top 6 than you do away from home. So they're 2 big blows of results here recently.
How have you seen the early games so far in League One?
In terms of, I always say this, in the first 10 games you're going to get surprise results, and the one there you've got your eye on is Cambridge United away at Leighton Orient, who are struggling a little bit, and no doubt, they haven't got a budget to spend. They've got out of League Two. I don't think they've increased their budget substantially enough to be able to be a threat in League One, so it's a tough year for them. Cambridge win today and they stay top of the league. And we wouldn't have said that at the start of the season. We would have had Cambridge as relegation favourites. And that's why the early season throws these results up that none of us can predict. You just can't.
I think today's game is a bit like the Peterborough one, a little bit of a marker. When we went to Peterborough, we're going, well, they were top 6 last year, they were a decent side, blah, blah, and we've got another decent side today.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one. OK, here at the Valley this week, Chem Campbell signed on a season-long loan, having had previous experience in League One at Wycombe last season, and Charlton TV went behind the scenes to meet the signing.
How are you? You okay? Hey, Jem. Hello. New model, nice. She looks after everybody. Excited? Yeah. We are. I'm ready to go, yeah.
Yeah, I've never really looked at these.
Yeah.
Right.
Whereof director Andy Scott has to say.
Andy, Chem Campbell signed number 7 this summer. How pleased are you to complete the deal?
Yeah, really pleased. He's a player that I've seen a lot recently, and going back a number of years when he played for Wolves. I remember seeing him against PSG in a game at Wolverhampton Wanderers, and really impressed with him. He's direct, he's got good physicality, ball carrying, attacking, threat that can assist and create and score goals. So another young, ambitious player who was really keen to come to us. Who's had a number of clubs after him, but after speaking to Dean and understanding where he was going to be playing and how he would be playing and how we played and the chances we'd create and the opportunities he'll get, he was very, very keen to come. So clearly, very happy to get him over the line.
You talked about his attributes. How do you see him fitting into the side?
Yeah, well, we've obviously created a number of chances in the first few games and scored a couple of goals, but have missed a number of chances. I think that, with Tyrese's injury, Corey's played 3 games in a week. The first time he's done that for a long time, so credit to him for that. But we need more numbers. It's not going to be the only signing we make, and we're trying very hard to bring some more players in. We're very aware that we need to strengthen the squad, so this is the first one that we've brought in. It gives us an added dimension. I think the fact that he's played League One football for Wycombe and did very well at the end of last year, everyone can see the type of player he is with his attributes. He's very direct. He's quick. He wants to take players on. He wants to create things. He wants to get in goal scoring areas. And we think they will complement the group really well. But he's a good person. He's come across very well. Mature for his age, understands where he wants to do, and I think he'll fit in with the group really well.
Yeah, that's the aim as well, and it looks like Tracy Leeburn looked after him. They're always important to be feel welcomed, doesn't it, for a new signing to be coming in. But we talked about, or we listened to what Andy was saying there, about that he can play across the wing and anywhere across the front line as well. It's an area where we need help, really, isn't it?
Well, if you've got everyone fit, we've got 5 centre forwards. But history suggests they're not all going to be fit. But if they are, that's a problem for Dean. I'd rather have that problem than where we was at last week with Alfie May. If he got injured, we'd just be left with Carnu, and that would be it. So, yeah, needs must. We've had to bring someone in. Interesting if he can play across the front line, which is what we need. We don't actually need an out-and-out centre forward. It's the wide positions that we need them on. So yeah, let's hope he can come in and bridge that gap that Versace's left, because that is a big hit. Versace, the goals he scored and the goals he made and the threat he was, we've been missing that as well.
Yeah, we're relying a lot on Corey at the moment, aren't we? So it'll be interesting to see how he sort of comes in. And he's had experience of League One at Wycombe last season. That will help him a lot, won't it?
Yeah, and it's come at a good time for us. I think before that he hadn't been out, so making probably cup performances at Wolverhampton. So I think the lad needs to get out, and we need somebody. So it fits well for both football clubs. I wouldn't try and ask too much of him. Compare him to Raksaki. Let's see what he delivers. Yeah. Let's hope he gets off the bench today, and we get a little shot of what he can do. But it's going to be very, very tough for anybody to come in and deliver what Jez did. That's 15 assists. It's
interesting though, as he's coming down the M1 or whatever, M6, he must know that we've got Miles and we've got Chucks and we've got Alfie May and we've got Carnu, who's just scored a couple of goals. So you like to think if you're alone coming in, you're going to be playing. You're going to be playing.
Yeah.
But he must be confident that he's going to get in this side, because as Andy said, he had other options where perhaps they're guaranteeing him some football.
Just on Jez, it was good to see him come on at Sellers Park, in a first-team game, despite it being in the Palace shirt. Where else do we need to improve things in terms of the squad?
Yeah, I think you've got to get everybody fit, and I think the problem that everybody can't get their head around at the moment is that you can't keep asking owners to put their hand in their pocket and bring people in when you've got 4 out injured. Right, so what you assess is how long they're going to take. Miles is supposedly back training Monday. That's going to be a great addition. It might take him a couple of weeks to get up to speed.
You've also got to remember the players that ain't even on the bench
right,
today.
So you've got Fraser out, Kamara's out, Miles is out.
Kirk. So I see me not even on the bench.
To be honest, I don't think they're going to feature. But we've got enough players there that we've just mentioned that will feature. And you can't keep... we all know we need a bit more strength in depth, but I think you've got to do it. I think Andy said in an interview before, the right player, otherwise we can't gamble at this moment. We've got 3 or 4 coming back from injuries. When they come back, and I know everybody wants to get as many as they can in August, in August, because we want to do well. But football clubs they're not sustainable like that. They're just not. You can't just keep chucking millions of pounds in.
And sometimes it's harder to get players out as much as bring players in. But I'm sure Andy, Dean and the owners, everybody connected with the club will be working hard to try and bring in the right type of players as well as balancing the squad out. Yeah. OK, right on to the Charlton women now, shall we? And kick off their 23-24 campaign against Sheffield United at the Valley tomorrow. Should be a cracking game, and we are encouraging as many Charlton fans as possible to get to the Valley and support the side. It's a 3 o'clock kickoff, and with a productive summer transfer window, it will be a good opportunity to see the new look Addicks in action. We'll hear from Karen Hills at half-time, but it would be great to get as many fans down there as possible. Well, someone who will be there is today's men's first-team skipper, George Dobson. He'll be attending with Miles Leeburn, Harry Isted, Corey Blackett-Taylor also, and there'll be an opportunity for supporters to meet them at the Valley before the game. Just head to the club's website for more information and to purchase your tickets. Actually, a word on George as well. We played in his 100th league game for Charlton last Saturday. And Brandy, when he arrived at the club in 2021, it met with a mixed reaction from supporters. He wasn't originally in the side, of course, if you remember, but boy, is he first name on the team sheet now?
Yeah, you'd like to think so. Even with the additions we've made, you know, and George has started actually on the front foot. He's one of the few players in those early games where it was the same old George, into every challenge, bouncing up, trying to cover every blade of grass. And he's probably, I mean, I shouldn't really say this, but he's probably one of the only positives from that influx of the Adkin first transfer window.
Don't say it.
Too late, it's out.
Okay.
Done.
Done.
You can't unscramble scrambled eggs, can you?
Okay. No, you can't. It's a hell of an analogy, that.
Yeah. But it's one of those ones where, you know, we made a lot of changes that summer, and there aren't many. I don't think it is only George.
No,
that's come through and held his own and been a real positive lately.
And Curbs 100 down. We'll be hoping for 100 more as well. He's wearing a Charlton shirt, but you have said on more than one occasion that he's the one player of the present squad that actually could and probably would get into your squad.
Apart from his football ability, I think the way he handles himself and conducts himself, he'd fit into our squads. He'd have to take a little bit of stick and give a little bit, you know, but...
I get the feeling he could do that.
Yeah, he'd definitely get Burnstoff winning the Simpsons, wouldn't he? If he was in our squad.
But you know what I think is so underrated is his passing. We keep thinking about George as a tackler, destroying, you know, winning the ball back, but his passing ability, short and long, is really good.
Two things. I think one is awareness as well as whether to play first time or he knows who's around him is definitely approved. The second thing is you're a bad kid.
I'm not. I can be.
Yeah.
I'm also a really good teammate. I just, you don't want to go.
Just going back to George and getting off a brownie.
He does get. He's been digging me out recently. We went up to the boardroom last week. He gave me a right hand slap in the boardroom. He did.
It's just something I heard about George. I think he's only got a year left on his contract, which is an interesting one.
Well, yeah, that's someone we can't afford to lose. But anyway, look.
Surprised if that's the case, but yeah, if it is, I'd get to work on that.
I was told that
while these two are bickering as to how long Dobbo has left on his contract, let's move on, shall we? From 100 Charlton games to Dobbo to a young man who's just started to make an impression, a big one as well. Daniel Kanu scored his first brace in league football last week, and he spoke to Charlton TV on Tuesday.
Starting off with the goal against Bristol, which was something I'm really proud of. Obviously, it was my first league goal, something I've been working hard towards for a really long time now. Had a couple of opportunities last year to get it, but I'm just glad I finally got off the mark. And then obviously I get another one against Port Vale. Probably one of the best goals I've ever scored. If you ask me to do it again, I don't think I'll be able to do it. I've got my results back as well. Got some really good results, both in A-level and in B-Tech as well, so I'm really proud of that as well. Obviously, it would have topped it off if we got wins in both of those games, but all that does is make me even more hungry to score more goals and help the team do even better. It makes it a lot better having Croy, Nathan and Zach Mitchell around me. It really does. Like, it just brings a certain level of comfort, you know, having players around you that you've played with for so long on the pitch with you. Like, gives you confidence. You see them doing well, gives you confidence in yourself as well, which I think is really helpful, because we've got each other's backs and we've had each other's backs since we were literally 10 years old. So it's been a really enjoyable experience. Playing in the big stages alongside them is like, yeah, it's something that you dream of, you really do. I think the physical side is always something, in terms of the strength, it's always something that I struggled with last year, but it's something I've really worked hard to improve on. And when you get to train against big centre-halves, really good centre-halves like Lloyd, Hector, Nessie, Deji, Mitchell, like you train against those kind of guys, and like Terrell and all those guys there on a regular basis, it really helps you, and you learn a lot about yourself and what you can do to have an effect on the game. And I think that's what I've been learning over the last year or so, is that how can I have an impact on the game and use my strengths to have an impact on the game. So I've tried to bulk up a little bit, I've tried to not lose some pace as well. So yeah, it's been good. It's been good learning experiences over the last year, and I think I'm starting to see the fruits of all the learning that I've been doing over the last year or so. Playing alongside Alpha May is something I really, really enjoyed, and he's made me feel so comfortable in the role as well. Like, he really has, with his level of experience, he's really, really helped me in like getting used to the pace of the game, and also learning just different stuff, because he's the type of striker that I like to be, a striker that's likes to get in and around the area, shooting inside the 18-yard box, and also running in behind. That's the type of striker that I want to be. So it's been really good learning from him over the last couple of weeks, and also playing alongside him. I've built a really good relationship with him over the last couple of weeks as well, because right now he lives in the same area as me, so he picks me up. He picks me up on his way to training, so we always have some nice conversations on the way there. And yeah, we've built a really, really nice relationship, and I think that relationship is shown on the pitch. And I think, yeah, I just want to continue working hard, not just with Alf, but with the rest of the players as well. And I think as long as we keep it up and keep training hard, I think we'll get a good result. And once we get one good result, I really believe that we can kick on, and that would be the kickstart for our season.
Well, look, I mean, he's a really good talker there, Brown, isn't he? Were you a good talker at that age?
No.
I mean, we know that you can talk.
No, well, this is why I think I compensate now, because I didn't until I was about 22, 23. Yeah, not comfortable, and I think a lot of work goes on. We were talking about, you know, the educational side of scholarships. There is a lot of time spent, I think, now on the media side as well, so that I'm a lot more prepared than we were. We were just thrust in, as you well know. You know, if you got in a first team and the first team was doing well, you got thrust into interviews. You weren't taught how to do anything back in the day. So no, the answer is I wasn't. No, and you grow into it, don't you? Same as communicating on the pitch. I was quiet as in the first couple of years, and as you get more confident in yourself, you start to speak a bit more. So you'd say I was ultra confident now. I know, yeah.
No, I was just about to say that one day you'll actually get there. So
yeah, one day.
You feel a bit more confident and be able to talk. Look, I mean, he talks about working on his game, Curbs, doesn't he? And to be aware of what you need to do at that age and want to improve on it, that bodes well for the future and his future, doesn't it?
I think since he's been in the side, he's showed all aspects of that. He's come in short, he can run with it, and he likes to go in behind. And the goal he scored here, where he got played in, was a great run, and you know, in between the centre backs. But the header, I mean, it's such a good goal that we took it for granted a little bit, but he's managed to get a lot of power on it, loop it over the goalie, you know, and some people would have just like tried to head that and it wouldn't have even got anywhere near the goal, but he's got it over the goalie, and it was a goal from the moment he left his head.
Yeah. Interesting to see he gets a lift in with Alfie, isn't it? I mean, how much is, well, first of all, on a serious front, actually how important is that you can develop a relationship with someone off the field, so therefore that can help on the field. And who are you? Because you had that Brighton crew, didn't you?
We had a few. We had Gats, Steve Gatting, Gary Nelson, Kim Grant, John Robinson, all of us squashed into Nels's car normally. You know, and yeah, I mean, you say I talk a lot. I mean, Nels was just verbal. Gats was very economical with what he said.
He just listened.
Very methodical, and then one sentence and out, wasn't interested. Nels was always trying to do that ooh game every 2 minutes, and you're like, Nels, it's pre-season, we're absolutely shattered, no one's interested.
So if there was trouble on the motorway, would we be missing half a team?
Well, we were one time. You find us. I don't want to go into that. It still hurts.
It was the Gatwick Express.
The Gatwick Express.
They all turn up late.
Yeah.
No one. We're all going on the way up. No one can. He can't find us today. He cannot find us today. I don't want to say what happened, but he can't find us today. We were 2 hours in traffic. Walked through the door and he went, "Yeah, there's 50 quid or whatever it was coming through." You can't. No, we got done. And Keith offered his kangaroo court, as you would. Yeah, a bit more money coming in.
Have a little bit of discipline.
Yeah. You have to. Yeah, you have to. But no,
Absolutely.
the answer is
It's
good that he's driving in with Alfie. It's good that they've got a relationship going on. And if it's anything like, having Gats and Nels in the car, as much as Nels talked a lot, you're learning. You are learning because you are talking football. It's the majority of the conversation. And those guys had so much experience. Yeah. And you can't not fail to learn from them. You can't.
I mean, as Daniel has come in and feels like he's scoring goals, Miles has certainly done that as well. And that's not easy for a young lad playing up front, is it?
No. And he's grabbed his chance. And so much so, Dean's changed the shape to fit them both in, and give us a bit. I think it's two things he's done for today. I think he's made us a little bit more defensive minded, and there's a bit of pace in the back, and we've got a bit of a threat up front, and we ain't got to come short. We can turn people around. So, I think I'm looking forward to today's game to see how Kanu and Alfie May do it together.
Yeah. But before we actually have a look at the teams, we've got a few WhatsApps come in. Harrison asks, thank you. Harrison asks for score. Did I say that? Okay, yeah.
That's perfect.
Harrison asked for score predictions. Oh, I'll tell you what, we'll come on to that in just a bit. Dean from Charlton, he's actually originally from Manchester, but Dean Charlton says it's nice to see Brownie has found his razor. That's Dean Holden.
Nice to know he cares.
Yeah, he does. Oh, we care. We all care about you, Brownie. Dave in Spain says it's 35 degrees here.
I know, my daughter's out there, don't tell me.
So that's brilliant.
Yeah.
So if you wanted actually football questions, there's the number on there. Let's go with the predictions then. What do we think?
I'd like a 2-1. I'd like a 2-1. So we'll score a couple of goals and, we are away from home. I'd like a result here. 2-1 would be nice.
Yeah, I'm going to go against everything that I normally think, and I'm going to go for a 1-0 win. They've made a couple of changes, and I'm looking at the changes they've made.
Oxford have made a couple of changes.
Oxford, that is.
Well, let's have a look at the teams now,
Okay.
shall we? And
Right.
we'll look at Oxford as well. Tell us what you're about to say.
Well, no, I mean they've had a front three of Harris, Brown, and Mills and Brown have come out, and they've looked particularly strong in wide areas. That's not to say that Tyler Goodrum and Ruben Rodriguez won't be good players, but they have been a focal point. Those two wide players. They've changed their fullback as well. Sam Long's come out for Finn Stevens, and I just get a feeling that we've got to find, we've been creating chances, and if we can cut out these errors that we have, there is a clean sheet there, and I hope today's the one where we can nick a 1-0, if I'm on it, or not even nick it, win 1-0. But I'd love that to happen, so I'm going with my heart today and going, can we have a 1-0 win?
Preparing for them two players that have come out, because he was talking in his pre-match. They got a lot of pace going forward. It's like they counter-attack and etc. And now the two of them are out, the two wide men. So.
I mean, they do look like a team that wants to press high. And we've been discussing this on the way in, but I think we've got a setup that can press high. If it's Kanu, May, Eden and Anderson with a Simway and Taylor, that type of press, that's got a lot of... That's a lot of pace and good stamina.
At the back as well, we've got a bit of pace. So.
And some of the clips we've seen, I've spotted, it becomes really open games, really open. So we could get that as well with both sides. But it's one of those ones to be interesting where the teams go, because everybody's looking to press high. And the games I've seen in the Premier League, as you have, they're looking to bypass the press now and go direct and over it. So we'll see. We'll see where the tactics
it's even
go.
more difficult, with the greatest of respect for League One players, to try and beat a press. Then just if you've seen the Premier League players go a little bit long, then there's nothing wrong with doing it at all. I'm personally going to go for a 1-1 prediction, which I would take.
Well, in all fairness, Scott, I think we have been with Alfie May. We have turned teams around. We have gone route one, if you like, as opposed to trying to play out from the back on some occasions. Yeah. Why not when you got the pace?
Absolutely. James says Charlton will win 4-0 or lose 4-0.
I don't know what to suggest.
Well, just don't know. He just doesn't know, does he, what's going to happen? But I mean, the pitch looks great.
Yeah, no complaints about
It's
that.
going to be interesting to see. I mean, we just heard from Daniel there, didn't we? How him and his car buddy